Welcome to the 10 Acre Woods. My name's Mark, and today we're going to do a few things. And the first thing I wanted to do is this area behind me here is our septic field. So it's a raised septic bed, just because we live in an area with a high water table, which is a reason why our basement is actually built out of the ground and is so high up in the air. So that's not a two-story house. That's actually a basement with a walkout. We decided to build it like that because of the high water table, and in the past 11 years since we built the house, my sump pump has come on once. So that's worked very well for us. So what I want to do here is, because it is a septic field, the grass grows really well here, and we have to mow it. Now, why don't we get the animals to do some of the work for us? Now we do the same thing back in our dog run, once a week or whenever needed. We let the animals into that area and they mow it down. So most of our 10 acres are fenced in and are maintained by the animals, but there are certain areas. Now I have to be careful of Tara's gardens, her flower gardens, because there are some in these areas. So what I want to do here is I'm going to take some temporary fencing, probably take it right from that corner here, bring it along and to over in this region right here. Because we have a bed here that Tara is thinking about moving. Ideally, we'd like to let them out and open completely and just put a wire across down at the driveway. But we've got all of these gardens in here. So maybe we'll think of something in the future to do that. And that is it. So it took a little while. I would have liked to have more braided wire on the top. So you can't really see the wire that's down here. This here, the top one's not energized. This one's more for humans. The goats don't need it that high. But this, if you look closely, you can see braided wire inside there. So this will just be easier to take off and tuck away when it's not in use. Plus it's a lot easier to see than this. So we do have the public that comes in and sees the animals. So we have these set up in 2 locations. And then there's another one over on the other end. So I think we are good here. Now with these areas over here, I like these type of connectors. I ran out of them, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of shopping for some supplies. I just ended up wrapping it around here. This one's not live anyway, so again, it's just for the use of the public. Now coming over here, this is just kind of temporarily set up. So we have, I've just hooked this onto the plastic, so it's not even live. And then this top one isn't live as well. You can see here it disconnected. We just never bothered to reconnect it anyway because it's higher and we've just got the two goats in here. Come on, boys. No, you have to go around. Look at all the grass. There we go. They're like, something's exciting about to happen. They were watching me the whole time, and then of course as soon as I finish, they go up front. They were lying right in the shade over there. Come on! He's confused. He says, well, I shouldn't be going through that area.
Come on! What's he get?
You can train them, even stud goats, intact males, you know, they do respect the fence. Oh, Billy, come on.
He's excited. Come on. Carl, come. Carl.
Come on.
Come on. Here's some treats, Carl. Come on, Billy. Here's some treats. Come on. Come on. Come on, Carl. Come on, Carl. Come on here. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, look at him, look at it. He's like, I'm not going to get shocked, okay?
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
There we go. This way.
Carl.
Yeah, of course.
Come on, Billy. Oh. Up there. There you go.
You got to scoot him into the greener grass. Look, buddy. Look at all the dandelions. What is this here? This is just for you. Look at that. And you have a whole field of them.
Oh, look at that num-nums. Billy. Up. Billy, Billy. Come on.
This is turning out to be more work than... Okay, so now we'll hook it up. That's the middle. Yeah, it's pretty snug. And the bottom. So this line here is energized. So as soon as we hook it up, it's going to energize that. And of course I showed here that this one isn't hooked up, but these ones do have wire running from there over to here, energizing that line. So that is now live. And there we go. It took a while to get them in, but I think they understand now. All right. Good job, boys. And now you get your treat. So if you're interested in any of the products from Gallagher, I will put a link. There's actually two links down in the description. There's one for the Canadian site and one for the US site. And then if you put 10 Acre Wood in the notes at checkout, what they'll do is when they process your credit card, they'll give you 10% off. So that's exciting news. And I will be putting a more detailed video on the installation and the maintenance of electric fences. I have done one on some wiring that we did in the back, so you can always check that video out as well. Now I'm out in the garden, and Tara is just starting to water. What are those, potatoes?
Potatoes.
Her potatoes over there, and the greenhouse. So the frame and everything is up and secure, and Tara's been out here planting, although we don't have the poly yet. We did pick up some poly, so we will be installing that, but of course we first need to take care of the peaks and the edges here, the corners. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get some carpet We're going to put some carpet along the line. We'll secure it in place. So this is it. Now this is the framing here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to weld this in place, and then we're going to take a shelving unit, which you can see down here, and we're going to put that over top of the door here to make an entrance. And then I think what we're going to do is we're going to cover it all up, and we're going to have some air flaps for holes for ventilation, and then probably a zipper door. I'm thinking kind of like a tent where you have the one on each side. So this is it. So we have the hay or straw bales in the center here. So she's going to be planting in that. She's got these neat little hanging racks here as well. And then moving back, you can see we have to just level this one. It's not quite where it needs to be. We have to bring that down. And then again, we're going to put up some framing here so that we can attach the poly to it. This is a fan we actually had years ago when we had our last greenhouse. And I can't even remember where we got it from. It's a motor in here that's running on a pulley. And it's I had to put some screening on it because that is pretty dangerous. You don't want to get your hand caught in there. But this thing blows like you wouldn't believe. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have an opening where it's going to blow out. It's going to suck air in from here. And I might even hook up a thermostat so that we can control the temperature in here. So it's very strong and sturdy. It's not going anywhere. Tara went and connected them all together with heavy-duty steel screws. So they're all screwed together all the way along. So this one is going to be covered and is going to be an actual greenhouse. And the plans are to build this exact frame around the corner where we walked in. And then she's going to grow things up. And actually have vine plants so that the vegetables can actually hang down in. So that'll be in this area right here. So what do you have here, Tara?
Well, it was 29 degrees today, so it's hot. So these are Brussels sprouts, and they're thirsty. And yes, I know, Brayden, I should be watering with warm water, rainwater. I'm working on it.
Yeah, so we're trying to figure out a solution. She's got buckets of water out here. You should always use warm water instead of cold water because apparently that can shock the plants.
It can, yeah, stunt the roots. Stunt the roots, cold water, like it keeps them from growing. This one's okra. Okra, lavender, chives, catnip. I forget. Catnip. I forget.
So we might, I thought of an idea of taking a barrel, a 45-gallon barrel, and hooking the hose up to the bottom of it, and then another hose onto the top of it, and sealing it off so that when you turn on the hose, it fills from the bottom and the warmer water comes out the top to water with. So tell me what you think of that, and if you have any other ideas on how we can do that, let us know down in the comments.
So these are maple trees from the yard, silver maples from the yard, or silver poplar. I'm not quite sure which we're going to call them. Somebody corrected me on the name of them. Rhubarb, lettuce, chives. See, I go by memory. That's marigolds. And then, so our blueberry section is here. These are blueberry bushes. Peas in the pot in the corner so it grows up and over. Marigolds, potatoes with onions on the side. The potatoes have started. You can see the potatoes starting to come up.
Have they?
Yeah.
Wow, well that's quick. Because you only planted them this week, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but they were overgrowing in the basement too, so now they've actually broken ground.
I don't see them.
What? Yeah.
Oh, those ones.
Potato.
Oh, okay. I thought you had the potatoes in here.
They are too. You can see it back there, potato.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
All right, I'm just blind.
Yeah, right there. Right, and then I put a row of peas around there to grow up the pole.
I guess I don't have the eye for gardening.
Yeah. This isn't planted yet, but this will have the arch with peas. This will all be peas.
Okay.
In here. And then we got new berries. So these are honeyberries. Honeyberries, you need 2 to pollinate. And then that's haskap, but it can be pollinated by the honeyberry, so that's why there's 3 of those.
Okay.
Blackberry.
Okay.
And then, thanks to a really good friend of mine, I have, well here, you want to go here first?
Well, let's finish off with this.
Okay.
Who's your very good friend?
Patricia.
Patricia McBride.
Knows what she's doing when it comes to gardening. I messaged her and I said, do you have any raspberries? And she was like, yes. And we went and picked them up. So this whole row is raspberries. And they all took, none wilted, Patricia. So great job.
And the other ones are over there.
Went from there all the way to the other end. So that'll all be raspberries. Don't walk on there, hun.
Oh, sorry.
This is all going to be herbs.
All the way down. Yeah, so this is a kind of an herb garden.
This is all going to be herbs and flowers, but you see those little bushes here? They look like blueberries that are wild blueberries.
Okay.
So we're going to notice a lot of stuff coming up that is going to be really cool. The archway will be over here as well, and this is all the melons. So that row is all melons and squashes, and they'll grow up and over.
Okay.
And of course the root veggies don't like it as when we get to really hot weather, so they're going to be under the arbor.
Okay.
So this is all root vegetables with vegetables.
Vegetables.
Carrots, beets, and I put the Brussels sprouts at the end, or broccoli at the end, because I want lots of broccoli, but I can move it in and out. This side will be squashes and pumpkins, so it can either grow up and over or out.
Okay.
And then, did you go through the greenhouse?
We looked at the greenhouse, but I don't know what's planted.
This is a salad bar. Okay, so you got to come on this side.
Oh, to see the labels, yes.
To see the labels. So this is the salad bar. This is what we'll be able to come out and cut the greens for salads. Ow.
Don't poke yourself with your glasses.
So lettuce, leek is a nice, normal salad. Then you got some cabbage and kale with a little bit of spice in the cabbage. And then if you really want spice, you can go to the turnip, kohlrabi, the radish, and daikon. And then and it's growing. Oh, Brayden, you're not here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's starting. You can see it's starting to bulge up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was flat. So you can see them all starting to come. Yay! And this has only been out, what, 3 days?
Yeah.
3 days, and it's already going.
All right. Well,
And
it's the heat.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, what's planted in these over here? Anything?
Oh, it's coming. I see them.
Tara's just excited,
Sorry.
so we'll give her a minute.
Chives. I love seeing them come up. It's so exciting. This is chives.
Okay.
So far, I've just conditioned these. We're going to do half our tomatoes inside and half our tomatoes outside. Try to do both. There is peas and cucumbers. Cucumbers will be in here. Cucumbers like the greenhouse. So we'll do them in this greenhouse. This is amaranth that will come out in these pots, start growing. I'm too short to see if it's growing. And then this side is red spinach. So they're both good in salads as well. And a lot of people you can eat a lot of the berries and flowers on these plants. So yeah, hollyhocks. I just finally bought hollyhocks. None of my seeds take. So I'm doing that. I bought. Shelves are cool. This greenhouse has turned out absolutely fantastic. We have more Brussels sprouts in here because we want to do in and out. Try. Peppers are hardening off. Tomatoes are hardening off. See, this is what I mean. Look. Okay, we thought our potatoes were doing fine.
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
You said potatoes.
Oh, tomatoes. And then, so you look at ours, and then Patricia gave me a couple of the ones of hers that weren't doing very well. They're bigger than mine altogether.
So an amateur versus a pro.
Right? So I'll learn, and I mean, like I said, like when you start, plant some seeds and try. You'll learn as you go what'll grow and what won't. This is my second year doing this straw bale garden, so we'll see how that kind of works. I've already watered them and conditioned them, so.
Yeah, and we have discussed about down the road, we're probably going to have to build some framing around as they decompose. And somebody had actually asked that in the comments. Now this was interesting. This framing here it's got these two sides on it, and then it's got the wire mesh and then it's got another side on there. So we actually just cut out the wire mesh and it turned into this.
Which is so nice. And these are pallet boxes from, you know, your local hardware store that, you know, they throw it back and you can free pick up. And then we have a place that does the pallet wood they can't use. So put the two together and you got some really cool looking farm barn board planters. These ones are filled with straw on the bottom from the rabbit house, and then a mixture of rabbit manure and really good potting soil that was donated last year. And these will all be tomatoes. Peppers will be in the bales because they like it really hot and they're okay with those. So then it'll be peppers, tomatoes, peppers, tomatoes, peppers, tomatoes. The last one actually has tomatoes that we actually tried putting some of ours out. I don't see any growth in here yet, but we've only had them in here like 4 days. So, and if I need to, I can cover these. Atlas, you're supposed to be in the farmyard.
What are you doing?
You're gonna be, I know, you're gonna be my garden chicken. What? No, if you hang with me, you have to be a baby. What?
Oh boy. Yes, Atlas is out now.
Relax. Yes.
So this is the stuff you had pre-grown inside,
yeah,
correct?
we grew these inside.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, but you're not supposed to be in that one. You have to be in that one. Ooh.
Oh, now he's mad. So now that we've seen what's growing in the garden, let's see what's growing underneath our deck in terms of eggs. So we've got a few wild birds that are nesting up underneath our deck. So there's a robin and, well, actually there's two robins, there's another one up front, and there is a flycatcher. It is I think it's called a lesser flycatcher. I've always known it as a North American flycatcher, but either or, tomatoes, right? So up here, and I do have some cameras. Yeah, so she is, as I fall over, she is up in the nest. You can see there's two cameras there. This one here is, it's an Argus 2 wireless camera. And the other one up on the left there is one of my house cameras. So to get a little bit different of a view, and there she is. So she's sitting. We're looking probably at day maybe 4 or 5. It's a 14-day incubation period, 12 to 14 days. So it's going to be, you know, another week and a half before we see any action, but we'll keep an eye on that. And the other one is located up here. Try to walk quietly. You can see there's the other, this is a Argus pan and tilt camera. And it's wireless. Oh, no, she's not in the nest there. Okay, so there's 4 white eggs in this one, and then there's 4 blue eggs in the other one. So she's not home now. I've only got one solar panel. The other one is solar charging. So I just ended up running the charging cable in and plugging it down into there. So they're fully waterproof cameras. I'm going to be doing a review on these Argus cameras as well. So if you're interested in that, they are a very versatile camera and have worked well for things just like this. As I'm walking away, I realized, oh, the other one's home. So they're up in this rafter. You can see there she is. So she's sitting on, I believe, 4 eggs as well. You can see back behind me there, we're supposed to get some isolated thunder showers, so looks like rain. Now I'm up in the front pen, and this is where all the kids and mamas were. And it's just down to Sheldon and Hazel. Hazel's up there. And there's Sheldon. How you doing, buddy? Oh, eating away. Goats don't like to be disturbed when they're eating. Hazel's not eating, no. Hi, Hazel. What do you think? You like it up there? Hey. So Hazel had to learn to become a goat because she was raised in the house, and then she came here last year. So now she knows what being a goat is all about, don't you? Oh, you boys. So there's Henry on the left, and of course Atlas on the right. You're gonna tell me you weren't fighting? I saw you. Yeah, Atlas might be small, but he's pretty feisty. It's gonna get him into trouble one of these days. Hey, Hannibal. Hannibal, Bronwyn, and it looks like we have Turbo and a Pekin duck. Hi, Turbo. Okay, so everybody else is out back, so we'll head that way and see if we can find them. Well, who do I see here wandering towards me? Fernando. You know, somebody made in a comment, I think it was on either on Instagram or Facebook, and I'm pretty sure it's the same woman that names him or calls him the same name every time, and it's Fernandad. Hey, so it's kind of an inside joke when I say hi, Fernandad. Yeah. So he had some visitors today, so he was happy about that. I didn't have a lot of visitors, just because I guess people still are, you know, they're a little quiet on getting out. They don't quite know. So as of actually yesterday, we're allowed up to 50 people outside with social distancing. So, hi Piper. So this is the place where Petey and Piper hang out. This is where they love it. Alpaca's Shanzi. So she is, don't mind the train, but she is using the facilities, I guess we'll say. And the interesting thing about this is they always go in the same place. And they've got certain spots. There's probably about 5 spots around the yard. We'll just let her finish. Okay, while we're waiting for her to finish, look who's coming in. We have the mamas and their kids. So there's 4 kids. Oh, and then we have Dwight. Citronella doesn't work, Tara says. We have Dwight. Hi, buddy. We have Holly and Billie Jean. And then we have Coco and her 2 kids, April and Dexter and George, Moira, and Flora. Hi, what are you doing, Flora? You were inside the enclosed area too, so she came out with the rest of them as well. I guess the ponies are still out back. Oh, now it's Marley. Okay, you're done. So Paula, Shansley, and Marley. So yeah, so this is the little poop pile. There's one there, and there's one back further over there. I'm sure they have one out there somewhere. But it makes it very easy to collect the alpaca poop, because alpaca poop and rabbit poop do not burn. You can use them right off the ground. You don't have to let them sit like you do like horse manure that will burn if you use it too soon. So you have to wait, I believe it's a year before you can actually start to use that. I walked by Tara and she's like, citronella oil doesn't work. She's using, I think it's Young Living essential oils, or it could be a different name brand, I'm not sure, but she decided to put some citronella oil on. But you know, I don't know, I don't have any citronella or anything on. But then she's standing still watering. I'm moving around looking for animals. Oh yes, and there's the other goats. So we saw Dwight, and then this is Toby here on the left, and then Charlotte. So they were also in. So now they're exploring and get to look at the rest of the 10-acre woods. Oh, there's a mosquito right on my hand. Yeah, go figure. Just as I say something, right? That looks like Tinker over there. Yep, that's Tinker. The only sheep out here. And then we have Daisy over here. So they're going through and collecting what they can. This area hasn't been tidied up. There's just not enough days in the year, not enough hours in the day, I guess. We'd like to eventually get these pulled up and then put into piles. So we have done that on the other side of the property where it's all nice and clean. This is kind of started, and you can see here it's all nice and bare and just the trees. So this is what we want to do over in this area. As you can see, this area has started to get cleaned up. So there's piles here around. There are some bare open areas. So from time to time we get some volunteers that come out, but it can be tough to get volunteers that come out and actually do any work. Most times when we get volunteers or when they come out to volunteer, they spend a little bit too much time with the animals. You know, it's hard to resist, I suppose, but that's our volunteer problems that we have. So most of the time it's just us that does all the work. Oh, sorry. I'm talking the whole way I'm walking up and you didn't hear me. I guess she was focused on eating. As I mentioned earlier, you know, when animals are eating, that's what they're doing. Did I scare you? Oh, Meadow. Hey? Yeah. Something very interesting is, you know, I've always known this in the past. Their noses are very sensitive. So we have an electric fence over here, and I've always heard that horses can smell the electric fence. Now, I was using, Gallagher had sent me a testing fault finder, and I was over here and I hooked it onto the fence, and it shows you a digital readout of the voltage. And as I pulled it away, I noticed that there was still a voltage, and probably about a foot to a foot and a half away, I was reading 400 volts just through the air. So it's interesting, and that's what led me to the fact that I heard. Well, I guess it's not a fact if I just heard it, but it's now likely a fact because I've kind of proven. But it was very interesting that as I walked away, when I was 4 feet away from it, I was still getting 100 volts just through the air. We probably haven't seen this in quite some time. These are just the temporary electric fence posts, and they go all the way down to the back. We're probably looking at about 550 feet from here to the back, which there's railway tracks back there. This is also another project that we have to take care of. This is the old fencing that's been here for who knows how long, and it's kind of got sucked into the tree. That's kind of how long it's been there. So what I ended up doing is just putting up temporary posts, and where I can, I'll put some of the insulators on there, and then just run it right down. So sometime in the future, we will get to this, a matter of cleaning it out, and then putting up an actual proper fence. So now walking back, something else I haven't shown you in some time is this is our isolation pen. So whenever we get equine that come in that need to be isolated, this is an old round ring that we had, and of course it was just stacked in the barn for quite a while, and we ended up putting it up here when some horses came out. Now we've got a shelter over there as well, and as Tara mentioned earlier, there's a company in the city that makes pallets, and all the pallets with knots in them, what they do is they set them aside. So anything that's damaged or it appears weak, they'll put in a bin for people, you know, to pick up and burn or whatever they want to do with it. And we've used it, recycled it to put on the outside of this building. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you aren't a subscriber, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button, ring that little bell to be notified on when we do videos, when they get released. Normally what happens is every Sunday evening-ish, I will release a video for the weekend. And then there's times where I do midweek videos and some little extra videos as well. So comment below if there's any questions that you have. And that's it. So have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.